Now we're live! Hello everybody and happy Wednesday! I guess not happy Wednesday, I don't know, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? But whatever, it's Wednesday and we're here and things should be working right now. I think I just had to do some stuff with the music, which was not present on the last live stream. I realized afterwards. How are we doing this Wednesday? I can say I'm actually doing pretty good. Had a nice chill day today. I've played some Pokemon. I've brainstormed some video ideas for the channel that I'm actually quite excited about. So yeah, and now I'm here and with my tea, because we're in that phase of April where it's a little cold, but it's also a little nice, a little warm. So whatever. Right, I just realized that my word progress is actually wrong. I just updated the progress bar, but I didn't actually update because I wrote a little bit yesterday. So let's go do that, shall we? First of all, we go in here, we go in here, I go in here, and I go here. As soon as it will let me, I go here, and 73,272 out of 75. Yes. All right. That should be the correct one. Okay. So where did we leave off? Monday. Well, where did we leave off Monday? We're in a new notebook, so that's cool. That's very cool. And we are chasing that page number 200 today. Hopefully we can get there. We just have, well, I guess we have 3.5 pages until page 200 is done. But yeah. So last time, Vespa confronted, last live stream, Vespa confronted Baldric with the plan that someone would assassinate him. He didn't believe that, and it turns out that she was interrupting a gathering of people. Vespa that was. And Afia took her arm and yanked her out of the temple that they were in. And I don't remember whether or not Vespa got like caught by this water bubble that we want her in, because someone is going for her life, as we can see here. Test allies and enemies. So we're like here. A third attempt at Vespa's life. She's grabbed and swallowed by a ball of water. And I wrote most of it yesterday. Most of that sesh. That kill attempt. But yeah. So I don't know where we're going to start today. I guess we're just gonna start. No, we did, because I started yesterday. I started like around here, I think, in the text when I began. No, around down here somewhere. So I wrote a little 2 pages yesterday. Yes. So we did start on that. We did start with that. That Vespa got grabbed by a ball of water. I guess we'll just start. We'll just start up here. We can read a couple of pages. Where on earth is my? There it is. My master sword. There we we are. Let's go. For the second time today. Vesper could feel her lungs starting to beg for air, but this time she was too overwhelmed by what was happening to even think about how she was to grant them their wish. It's a bit of a too soon for the begging description. What do we have here? Some rewriting is needed for this whole paragraph. Her panic had completely frozen her body, which floated around aimlessly inside the bubble on its way across the pitch-black soil. Her lungs tugged on her chest, demanding air from her closed mouth. For a moment, Vesper thought about giving in to their demands. Suddenly, however, the bubble rippled and seemed to change course ever so slightly for a moment, taking Vesper back from wherever she had surrendered herself to. That was something weird. Closed mouth, only, however, wherever. That sounds strange. Whatever. Whatever. Another ripple. Another ripple. I feel like there should be a sound for that. Didn't we? Yes, I did actually comment that, annotate that. Another ripple from the same place. Vesper's attention immediately went there to see a brave little yellow bird crashing himself into the water bubble, trying his best to make it pop. Lemon attempted to scratch the surface open before loudly flying away for another crash. What was she thinking? How could she just surrender so easily? Vesper of the Vigorous Oath would never give in so easily. Wow. So that's the same. No matter how rough a day she would have had, nor what else such a day would have in store for her. And this day had already tried to separate her once from Lemon of the Golden Wing, but it will not succeed this time either. Inspired by her companion, I think it was around here where we stopped last time. Inspired by her companion, Vesper began hammering away at the bubble where Lemon now kept scratching and biting. Or that was her intention. But water is difficult to move in, and the bubble did not agree to be breached from either side. She tried piercing the water with a flat palm, just like a fire had taught her when she learned to swim. It helped a little, in the sense that her fingers seemed to strike the bubble's outer layer at higher speeds, but it didn't help with her overall goal. Vesper decided to change tactic, as her lungs grew more and more starving. She tried putting her hands on the bubbles seemingly unbreachable inner surface. Surface layer. The inside of the surface. Yeah, there's some wording there. For an attempt of stretching it until it broke with Lemon's fierce help and screams from the outer side of the same surface area. It's also strange. That's also really weird. Weird. It sounds weird. Except Vesper's small body proved to be just shy of the bubble's width, even when she stretched herself all that she was able to. Instead, she just floated herself ever so slightly backwards until her feet reached the other side. She took no notion of where the water globule was taking her. Globule is probably just bubble. It was taking her, floating silently across the courtyard with no signs of stopping its slow path. As her lungs were getting more and more desperate for even the slightest hint of air, so was Vesper in her attempts at getting out of this dire situation. Listening to her companions' muffled screeches, Vesper couldn't help but wonder why no one came to her aid. Sure, it was late. It was late at night, but she knew from experience just how piercing her brave companion could be. For a moment, her vision became blurry, at least more than what the water bubble was already doing. This was really not good, and Vesper caught herself almost giving in and opening her mouth. She shook her head, her ruby locks flowing gently behind the movement in the water. Her vision came back, at least for as good as before. But there was one big problem. She was out of ideas. And the heroic... That looks like Leoric. And the heroic efforts of Lemon was still unrewarded. Maybe it was the hopelessness of the situation, or perhaps her lungs trying to force her body to do what she knew would spell her end. But Vesper suddenly couldn't get the image of herself struggling in the stream of her imaginary forest out of her mind. Maybe that experience had unlocked some potential with water, as Sapphire had always hoped. What if she would now be able to feel the water in the same way that she so easily had felt the flow of the branch? It was worth a try, especially in light of her having absolutely no other plan. Vesper swam forward so that she was able to reach the inner side of the bubble's perfectly round surface. Placing both her large hands on the bubble, Vesper couldn't help but think about how strange it felt. The inside of the surface, or maybe membrane, I don't know, didn't feel like water, but was instead gooey and a little bit stretchy. Vesper then thought about how if she had ever known what water actually felt like. But those thoughts were quickly dismissed as her deprived lungs jerked her whole body and her vision becoming blurry. Jerked her and her vision. This is supposed to be became, not becoming. Vision became blurry for yet another moment. Trying to dismiss the fighting body, Vesper closed her eyes and focused as much as she could, at least, on what she remembered from the experience earlier down in the catacombs. I don't want my tea to get too strong. Cheers. She remembered the feel of the branch as her fingers slid across it, the grainy bark, the smoothness of the leaves, the stinging of the thorns, and the shape of the berries. She remembered the flow inside of it and how some disappeared at the wet patch where Vesper had broken the branch off from the bush. That was the feeling she was looking for. Another jerk of the body, courtesy of her lungs, in distress. Vesper imagined herself standing in the stream of her imaginary forest again. Imagined. It's a bit weird. 2 times. But this time the stream was completely dry. No flow of any kind came to Vesper for her to direct, no matter how hard she tried. Searched? Maybe searched. How she searched. Or maybe Vesper thought that she felt something stirring. Her hands and feet became colder. Or had they always been this cold this whole time? It was a rather chilly summer's night after all. Then, with another sudden jerk of her body, Vesper opened her copper eyes up wide at once as she realized Renaith's words and the familiar feeling of what she was doing. Luckily, she had stopped it in time, heat returning to her limbs just as fast as it had moved away. So yeah, she was sort of grabbing her spirit again here. I don't want that to be too explicit, but you know, I think it needs some rephrasing, but I think that's a pretty good compromise. Her dire situation, however, had still not changed, so she closed her eyes once more for a final attempt at commanding the water in her favor. She simply knew that this would be her last effort, despite the still brave fighting of Lemon outside. He must be exhausted, Vesper thought, not remembering the last time Lemon had ever been airborne. There we are. There we have it. And let's begin. Man, I'm just way more energetic than last time. I don't really know what that was last time. I was so tired. Air airborne. And let's start this by not knowing how to write airborne. Airborne. Or airborne. Only one standard English form exists, airborne. Alright. There we have it. Airborne. Last time Lemon had ever been airborne for this long. Been airborne for this long. And still he kept going. A happy thought crossed Vesper's tired mind. His relentlessness. His relentlessly, no. His relentlessness. His relentlessness. Proved that he was indeed a paladin by heart. He was indeed. That's an E. God damn it. Indeed a paladin at heart. Vesper could not have wished. Vesper could not have wished. Could not have wished for a better companion, even if she had tried, even if she tried. We're closing in on the end of page 197. On this long, just need to make sure that I placed this back where it was. Tried. So I sort of just want the... I sort of just want this to like... how do we say it? I want Vespa to try again, feel anything, something with the water, and then maybe like really exerting herself, really screaming. So we could say like she opened her mouth to scream whatever little air that might have been left in her lungs. That might be a good way of phrasing it. Yeah, that might be a good way of phrasing it. And then we wanted to pop the bubble. Not actually like she's going to think that maybe it was her, but it's going to pop on top of the well, right? And then she's going to grab onto the well and see the son of the evening, Sire Brendan, be like standing up like with a palm like all stretched out, his hand and fingers. And then she's going to assume that he was the one who actually made the water bubble and the attempt at her life, because she went to Grandmaster Baldric directly. And then because she's tired and wet and it's dark and night and slippery, the well, she's going to lose her grip and fall into the well, and that ends the chapter, right? So we once again have a chapter where Vespa falls. Yes, that is beautiful, isn't it? It's amazing. Yes, but how do we say that? How do we say that? That's the big issue here. Okay. Let's go with she could feel herself becoming as something along the lines of the determination. And she would not lose him. Would not lose Lemon tonight. Lose lemon tonight. Let's go with an exclamation mark there. I guess we sort of already said that. Didn't we already say this? I'm saying we so that future me knows that him and I were a team. Hey, Sarah's here. Welcome to the stream, Sarah. It's good to have you here. Well, we basically just started. Today at least. And Vespa is almost dead. She is trapped inside a water bubble that will not be breached. And Lemon outside is trying his best to burst the bubble from the outside, and Vespa is trying to burst it from the inside. And she is right now quite desperate, but she's trying to see if she can burst it using water magic, because she figured that, hey, I could do magic with the branch, maybe I can do water magic now. She can't, but she thinks that. Oh, well, hello, Miss Blogger. Hi, what is everyone working on? I'm working on my outline for my fiction, fantasy, and contemporary paranormal romance novel with insta-love, forced proximity, and faded mate tropes. Wow, okay, that sounds interesting. Good to have you here. I'm working. Hi, Jamie. Wait, are you using the GPT? Yeah, wow. Okay, let's go. Let's start straight up with an inside joke, right? So people will totally know what you're on about. But yes, that is me using the GPT. Miss Blogger, I'm working on a fantasy novel, high fantasy novel. The target group is like kids aged around 12. It's about a little girl, 12-year-old girl, who discovers a plot to kill the paladin leader by a cult. And the paladins are this knightly order that Vespa, our hero, has grown up. She's grown up in the order. And then the story is that she's trying to convince people that this is real. They don't believe her because she has a lot of imagination, and she keeps getting herself into trouble because of it. And she's going to save the day while figuring out who and what she is, basically, because she's not a human, even though she grew up amongst them. That's the quick outline here for this one. So right now, we're at, well, you can see right here. We're in chapter 13 at the moment, where there is a third attempt at Vespa's life by some unknown sorcerer who has trapped her in a water bottle. Bubble, not a bottle, a bubble, like a round bubble that is floating across a courtyard right at the moment. I really need to have a better elevator pitch, I feel like. I need to practice that, because every time I'm fumbling it every time that people comes into the chat and asks. But it's so good to have you here, and it's so cool to have you working on your own stuff, to hear about that. How far along are you with the outline? Jamie, if she's not a human, is she a bike? No. She's not a bike. Just because her name is Vespa. And that's a nickname, by the way. Her real name is Vespero. So You know, don't make jokes, please. Oh, it's all right. Oh, I forgot you. I forgot that I never showed you, or showed your beautiful. What was it? Your beautiful fan art that you made. All the way back in November. I was going to post it like baby's first fan art, and then I forgot about it. Well, okay. She would not lose lemon tonight. That's what we're saying here. So right now we're trying to get her out of the water bottle, because of course our heroine is not going to die at chapter 13 when we have like 20 chapters planned. More determined. Oh my god, I cannot spell more determined. Than ever. Vespa forcefully closed her eyes. Forcefully closed her eyes. And gritted her teeth as she searched once again for the water's flow. Does she actually know that water have a flow? Does she know about this? Does she? Or would she only know that her branch, that nature magic would have flow? I don't remember. Does she know? Yes, Jamie, exactly. Your amazing cover using absolutely zero AI. Yes, that's the one I was talking about. This is the first fan art I've ever gotten. So, you should totally be proud of that. I was very honored. I don't remember where it is though, but I don't know if it was you who just sent it to me on WhatsApp. Actually, I don't even know if I have WhatsApp on this PC. Yeah, I'm not gonna try that right now. I'm streaming. She searched with her mind. Trying her best to truly feel the water bubble. The water bubble's outer layer. But nothing seemed to respond in the way that the branch did. To respond in the same way that the branch had done. Nor how eager her own spirit had been. Her own spirit had been. Oh yeah, I guess I could show you that. Just a little small detour. Just go in here. So yesterday I sat down. I was like, okay, I need to come up with a naming ideas for this book because I still don't have a name for it. I only have a name probably for the last one in the trilogy. So the one I've been working with for a long time and I talked about is the second son, which would then be alluding to this Warhammer that Rene's spirit is in. That would be called the second son. And also there are two suns in the sky, right? And then of course the third one. Why is that? What does that say? What? I don't know what that says. 1, 2, 1. It's the third one would be called the Son of the Evening, and in Danish the first one would be called then den anden sol, which is basically literally the second sun, and aften sol, the evening's sun. So then I had these cool thoughts, actually about the Danish titles that I thought worked really, really well. Which would be sjælesol, skyggesol, aftensol, soul sun, spirit sun, shadow sun, and evening sun. So as it says down here, I think this is probably what I'm going to be working with: soul sun or the sun's soul, soul of the sun, a spirit sun. I really dig that, and then I really like the alliteration soul sun and shadow sun for the first and the second book. And then, of course, evening sun for the last one, or maybe the sun of the evening, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really hyped about this because then the soul sun, the spirit sun, could be, talking about if Vespa is this, she's going to be, that's like the overarching goal of the trilogy, that she's going to become this legendary champion, the Son of the Evening, right? So she would somehow be a sun in all of these titles, but the soul sun would then be what's going to happen. The two suns are going to eclipse each other during the last couple of chapters, which opens up to the spirit realm. And then, so that could be a soul sun, right? A spirit sun. For Rene, for the Fae folk, a spirit sun. Because that's when the realm of the living and the dead are closest. The spirit, the amber sleep, of course, and the living realm. I really, really dig that. I especially dig the Danish ones, sjælesol, skyggesol, and aftensol, which is something that I didn't think I would, but it is. Hey, JK Lambo, hello everyone, waves. Welcome to the stream. I was just talking about how I finally have solid ideas for what my trilogy books, whenever they're done, are going to be called. How are you doing, JK? hope you're doing well. Oh, hooray! Yay, hooray indeed! You know, I've been thinking about that for half a year now, and I was like, yesterday I finally got something that I feel like I can at least work with, that I'm quite excited about. Oh, you just finished another work task. Another writing work task or another job work task? How Eager's own spirit had been, even when she didn't mean to call on it. A job work task. Okay, back to brainstorming ideas for Project Sugar and Spice, pastry chef's rivals novel. Oh, I like that. I like the idea of that. Okay, job work. So what do you do for a living? Did you? I feel like I when we talked on Cody the Writer's stream, I feel like you mentioned that, or was it? Maybe it was on your Instagram. I don't remember. Oh, you actually work as a technical writer. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Miss Blogger says, have you ever watched Abby Emmons' writing advice video? I have not. I've never heard of Abby Emmons. Maybe I should look her up. I'm actually going to write down that name. Thank you. Abby Emmons writing advice. What has Abby Emmons made? What has she written? The official title is under wraps, and thank you. You need to follow Abby Emmons. She has writing sprints every weekend. Interesting. Interesting. Thanks for the recommendation, guys. Right. That does sound fun. I really enjoyed Cody the Writer's live stream. Writing sprint, even though I technically didn't follow along. I was working on a video at that point. Every morning on the weekends. Interesting. Okay, nice. Yeah, they're always so much fun. Definitely were. Are. Only trouble is finding the time for it. When you want to stay busy, right? Her own spirit had been, even when she didn't mean to call on it. Actually, this Vespa almost couldn't take the assault from her lungs anymore. She tried to... Whoops. Oh my god, one of these days. You'd think when you're written by hand for multiple years, you actually knew how to do letters, but apparently not. Jake says, okay, back to work I go, but I'll lurk in the chat. You are most welcome. It's so cool to have you drop by. Go on with your pastry, the Project Sugar and Spice, the pastry chef rivals novel. It sounds so fun. I'd love to hear If you chip in once in a while, how it's going, that would be amazing. She tried to I feel like I use force a lot. Is there another word for force? Try to power through? Yeah, let's go with that. She tried to power through. Pushing even harder. With the help. Hey, page 197 is done. That means new page hype. Whoop whoop. New page hype. Page 198. Just let it dry. New page hype. Sarah, good to have you. I mean, where would the hype be, Sarah, if you weren't in the chat whenever we switch pages? I mean, you know, that might be your most important job. Just so you know. Just so you know. I don't wanna pressure you or anything, but you know, your support is needed whenever we switch pages. I don't know where I would be without you. Now I forgot what I was writing. Pushing even harder with the help. With the help. Of, not out. Of her feet and small legs. Propelling, so I'm gonna go with it, but I don't think that's a word I want to use. A word. Propelling her into the propelling her into the bubbles outer layer. Outer layer. Blah, 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 blah. As hard as she could. That sentence is a little pushing even harder, as hard as she could. Yeah, that's a twice. maybe that would help. Maybe that would help her in this terrible situation. Except, oh my god, is that letters? Except it didn't. Still not even the smallest of streams. Not even a brook. Creek. Let's go with that. Miss Blogger said Abby Emmons is an author writing coach and waffle enthusiast who has been teaching writers how to make the stories matter by harnessing the power of psychology and storytelling. Interesting. Very cool. Okay, well, I'll definitely check her out. Yeah, thanks a lot for that recommendation. That's awesome. Sounds awesome. Has she written anything? Or is she just like a savant in coaching and knowing the structure of a story? Still not even the smallest of brooks. That's supposed to be an O. In the dried stream of Vespa's imaginary forest. Imaginary forest. But she didn't know what else to do. What else to do? She didn't know what else to do. And so she kept on pushing into the bubble, into the water bubble. And pushing and pushing. But it didn't seem to help. It didn't seem to matter. But nothing came of it. Hmm. Was this the end? Her lungs told her that it was sending jerks of hurt, sending jerks, more jerks. Throughout the rest of Vespa's body. Miss Blogger says Abby Emmons wrote 100 Days of Sunlight, Tessa and Weston, the best Christmas ever, The Other World, and she wrote a writing craft book called Make Your Story Matter. Nice. I feel like I've heard The Other World. I've heard that before. So that's cool. Yeah, I really think that I should also maybe try reading some of those, like Make Your Story Matter, you know, some writing craft books. It's definitely on my list. I really want to read Stephen King's on writing. I need to read The Hero's Journey again, because I think since I'm using The Hero's Journey for this book, that can only, I read it before as part of education, but that was like 10 years ago, sadly. So I think it would be a good idea to have it to read it again. But I'm definitely going to look her up, Abby Emmons. You know what? I'm going to search for her right now in another tab. Abby Emmons. Nice. Very nice. You don't need more writing advice. You need this. It's a video she made 6 days ago. Interesting. Okay, can't wait to check that out. But first, we need Vespa here to not die. Will probably be a good thing. Priorities. Yeah, priority. It is a priority for me that our main character doesn't die. Throughout the rest of his body. She felt like screaming. And so she did. Though there was not. There was seemingly not anymore. That's an N. Anymore Seemingly not anymore. Air left in her. Left in her. To escape. Her straining face. The water bubble. Making sure that any potential sound muffled away. Water entered Vespa's mouth. Her defenses gone. Completely. Defense is gone completely. And still nothing. No feel of the water. I guess that should be cursive. No feel of the water. No flow. To direct and command. No flow to direct and command. And worst of all, no breaching of the water bubble floating through the air. The water bubble floating through the air. Um, Lemon didn't have any success either. Though in her current state, state of struggle. Vespa had no idea. Had lost track. Had lost track of her companion. This is it. Actually, let's have that as another paragraph. This is it. Vespa thought as she gave in and surrendered her body to simply floating in the water. In the water bubble. I guess we don't really need to have water here, but I'm sorry, Lemon. I'm sorry, Fire. Fire. I'm sorry. That I was so much trouble. She would have cried if she could. As she began gulping down water. Instead of air. Okay, that feels, that was pretty good. Section pretty good. A couple of paragraphs, it feels like. Okay, that's cold. The tea, that is. While she's drowning, let's just take a moment to refill the tea. Vespa's a tough girl. She can handle it, don't worry. Cheers, everyone. Well, that was just water because I didn't actually let it sit. Whoopsie. Right. Let's just annotate that live stream. We have the 8th of April, 26. And then around an hour and 14. Vespa drowning. Refilling tea. Lol. It's fine, Sarah, it's fine. Suddenly, the bubble burst. Suddenly the bubble burst. And Vespa fell down almost as fast as her lungs gulped. Switched Well, that's not a good word. But it's there. Word. Switch the water to the air they had craved so much. Hardly having any time to react. Hardly having any time to react. I guess that should have been a new paragraph again. Interesting. I definitely don't remember making two changes of mind for paragraphs that close to each other. Okay, okay. Try something new, right? How do I react? Blah, blah, blah. Managed to barely grab a hold. Grab a hold of what? She perceived to be some sort of wall just before she would have just before she would have seemingly plummeted into a much deeper darkness, much deeper darkness. Oops. No. Then what was the black soil? The black soil of this summer's night. Okay. Vesper was coughing up water while at the same time still need a new word for eat. Gulping, swallowing, guzzling, chugging, devouring. Let's go with devouring. Always a good word. I'll still devouring as much air as her tiny body could muster. And clinging with her arms and hands to whatever wall she had caught, whatever wall she had caught. I don't know. I don't quite like this sentence. It's a bit strange. Weird sentence. Weird sentence. Okay. Hey, look at how close we are to go here to ending page 198. That means just one page more and we're at page 200. That's wild. Let's see. Tossing her wet hair away from her blinking eyes. Her wet hair away from blinking eyes. Whisper. Mm. Try to figure out what had just happened and where she was. Lemon was still airborne. And with the water bubble gone, he was now attempting to I feel like this whole paragraph needs rewriting. I mean, I kind of know what I want to say, but it's a bit shit. Hey, CC listener here. Hello, sorry I came in late. Well, there is absolutely no reason to say you're sorry. Just want to say thank you for dropping by and even chatting a little bit. How are you doing this Wednesday? I was about to say Wednesday evening, but of course I don't know whether or not you are in the EU or similar time zone, or if it's noon for you in the US, or maybe morning for you in somewhere in Asia. But anyway, I'm very, very happy to have you here. Thank you. To keep Vespa on the wall. Her now realizing that her feet hung freely in the air. As his listener asked, how often do you handwrite your work? I actually handwrite all of it. The first draft of whatever I'm writing is written by hand. I have a notebook that I write by hand sometimes, but actually I mostly do research and stuff on my computer. But the process of handwriting, I think it's so giving, and I really, really enjoy it. And it just looks so amazing to have multiple notebooks filled with that story you're writing. These are the two first notebooks, and we're about to hit page number 200. So yeah. A first draft is always handwriting, no matter if that's a short story, a novella, my first novel here, or 1 minute stories, as I do have a couple of those on my channel. And then I digitize them afterwards. At which point I'm already doing the first revision with a brand new set of eyes. Because I'm typing in everything as I read it. It's really, it works really well for me. Even though it takes a while, it takes a long time. It can be quite tedious from time to time, but yeah. Also, writing with an ink pen is just fun. It feels good. So I can only recommend trying it out. I actually did a whole video on the channel, I don't know if you saw that, of why I think you should write your first draft with an ink pen, or just a pen in general, handwriting. Keep Vesper on the wall, who's now should probably be with his claws. With claws. CG Listener says, that's awesome. I know for me, I write the first 2 pages of a notebook to get my flow going into the chapter I'm on for my novels. Then I write majority on the computer. Oh, that's interesting. That's I want to say a bit, not strange, but just the fact that you switch medium. You get yourself going with the notebook and then you go into the computer. That's fun. How come you're doing that and not just doing all of it on the notebook, or on the computer for that matter? That's very very interesting. Was it her? Was it her who had made the bubble burst? Vespa had a hard time believing that. As some focus, finally. finally came back. She looked around to get an idea of where she was. CC Listener says, I know it's strange, but it's my way of not wasting too many paper on one project. I don't know, it's how my brain works to get me immersed in the chapter that I'm stuck on sometimes. Honestly, if it works, it works. I just thought it sounds really, really interesting. It's sort of like a Kickstarter for an old moped or something, you know, just to get going, and then you're onto the scooter, onto the moped, and driving away into the sunset of the story. Hey, if it works, it works. It's so cool. And you know, there's just something about writing. There is actually, well, there's not evidence, but like definitely speculations that writing by hand makes you unlock some creativity, especially because you have to think more about what you're putting down on the paper. It's not easy to erase. It's not easy to change the structure up. So yeah, I just think it's cool to hear about other people writing by hand. And it didn't take her. Hey, new page. That was page 100. I have to go this way. Page 198. We go to page 199. New page hype. Are you still with me, Sarah? Still with us, Sarah? In the chat. New page hype. 199. Yes. We're so close to page 200. This is so good. So good. It didn't take her long. Didn't take her long. To figure out why she was clinging to a wall, a circular one at that, circular one at that. Circular one at that. With her feet flying free. I don't know if flying is the right word here. This is why I need a map. I need to start making a map at some point. Because this well that she's about to fall into has to be... It wasn't close to the stables, but it was... I don't know if it was in the middle of everything. If it's going to be in the middle. Whatever. Whatever, we're just gonna take a snap decision and then fix it in post. The torches and precious of the keep's courtyard. And reveal the fact? No, that sounds weird. Showed, I guess. It's called showed. Showed that she must be right in the middle of it all. Actually, let's remove keep from up here. Black Rivers Keep. Black Rivers Keep. Meaning that Vesper was currently about to fall into the well she hated so much. I don't know if that's... I think it's okay to say, let's like reiterate. I just want to make my future self aware of it if it's too explicit. That realization made Vespa's heart. Jump right up into her throat. Feeling like she deprived her lungs. And feeling like and feeling like it cut off most most of the access to the air. Her lungs had finally been granted. Luckily, they had already gotten what they needed. And so Vespa didn't have to at least didn't have to concern herself with that problem right now. Concern herself again with that problem right now. Yeah. Okay, I feel like I'm writing pretty fast right now. But I also have this sneaking suspicion that it's really quite bad. Like, as I'm writing it, I just know this is pretty terrible. Whatever, it's the first draft, as we say. The first draft is for fun. To get ideas and thoughts into prose. Nothing more. Exactly, Sarah. That is what edits are for. But it's just like, you know, you can't help but feel that you want to write well, even in the first draft. What happened to my eye? It's itchy. Yes, easy listener, that's the best part of notebook drafts. Just write it down and write again later. Exactly. I just have to keep reminding myself of it every time. Because I'm like, okay, that was really terrible. That was terrible, and that was terrible, but that's okay. We'll make it unterrible later. That's future Thomas's problem, as we say. Okay. With that problem right now. Help me, Lemon. Her voice was what's the opposite of raspy? Because I feel like raspy would be harsh, scratchy sound, but yeah, that would be more like a dry throat, right? We could say that it was rough. Hoarse. Croaky. Croaky, that's a good one. Yeah, sound of a frog. Croaky like a frog. From all the water. As Vespa now added her feet in her effort to not fall down. That stupid will. Stupid. Maybe we need a better curse word here. Probably need a better curse word. Oh, how she hated it. But her body was tired. And her body was tired, and her clothes and hands were slippery. From being soaked in the bubble, being soaked in, oops, in the bubble, and it didn't help her effort. Help her efforts. That the nightly dew had indeed formed in a thick layer on the well stones. The well stones. Themselves. Okay. Lemon tried tried gripping and lifting her with everything he got, with everything. But his oh my god. You know what? It is actually more difficult to write the notebook now than what it was at the end of the last notebook. And I do think it's because it's raised just like maybe 1-2 centimeters. It's just interesting. It is actually, I am finding it harder, more difficult to write the letters. And you know, my handwriting is pretty bad in the first place. Guess we'll just have to keep going until we get to the end of this notebook as well. But his tiny stature did not provide the help of his efforts. Nor the help that Vesper needed right now. Vesper needed to not fall down. Vesper looked up. Okay, I'm not happy with Vesper being set so close to each other. Trying to see if anyone was around who could help anyone who could help. The temple with all its torches. This would probably be Bracious, but whatever. Bracious. Mounted on the walls. Was directly behind her, in front of her. She must have turned around. Floating in the water bubble. Why do I keep saying bottle? Water bubble. I'm gonna end up writing water bottle at some point. As it took her away. She thought that she saw someone standing in front of the great doors, in front of the great temple doors. Great temple doors. The flickering light of the torches shining and shimmering in blue armor. Doink. Okay, we're coming to the end of chapter 13 actually. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Just need to figure out how I want to end this. It's going to end with her falling. Someone was there. Help. That's an E. Everyone can see that's an E. It's a perfectly fine E. Vespa cut her own plea short as she realized strugglingly. Is that a word? Realized who it was that who it was standing there in front of the temple. Sire Brendan with his hand stretched out, hand and fingers stretched out towards her and well. Actually, just two words. And that moment of inattention was all that the well needed. The cursed. All that the cursed well needed. Vespers clinging grip of the stone wall slipped. And she fell backwards. Quickly getting devoured. I think we already used devoured for something else. Well, if it isn't Mother here. Welcome to the stream, dude. My goat. Oh, you're too kind. It is going really well today, though. We're almost at the end of page 199, and I am just about to finish chapter 13. Just used. Quickly getting devoured by the deep darkness. A small yellow flash following her. Small yellow flash following her down. That, I believe, hey, some goat emojis. Woo! Well, that didn't work on the stream. What does it say? Something about I can't really see it. Goat, turquoise, white horns. Thank you, Streamlabs. No, the emojis don't work. Well, they work in the chat, right? They just sadly don't work on the screen. But I believe that was chapter 13, actually. What? I know. When did it start? It started in the other book on page something. 13. On page 183. Ended 199. That was actually quite a lot longer than I thought as well. As it's the only way I know how to do things, apparently. And I was scared that I wouldn't gonna hit 50,000 words all in all. Now I'm struggling to keep myself within 100, I think. So, chapter 14. I believe that is how you do Roman numerals, 14. And let's have a quick looky at the chapter overview, because I believe we're actually changing Hero's Journey as well. Hero's Journey, what's it called? Point in Hero's Journey? It's not called Point in Hero's Journey. Approach to the inmost cave. Segment. Yeah, we're going to the next. Okay, we're going to the next thing in Hero's Journey. So here we're going to have to introduce the well being used as an access point to the deep dungeons, and that the villain is making poison as well as other weapons that are containing spirits. So far we only had Renaid, of course. That she's talked to. He was also the only weapon. The Warhammer was the only weapon that was still down in the catacombs. Last he was there. Let's see, for the main plot, there are no subplots here. We're going to keep the tension light. But Vespa survived the fall into the well and find herself in a cave-like structure. There's a strange ladder-like handles up the side of the well, and what looks like a corridor to the side. Vespa and Lemon, who flew down to her, curiosity gets the better of them, and they follow the corridor, which then leads to one of the cells in the deep dungeon that were partly underwater, that she visited all the way back in chapter 4 or something, wasn't it? Okay, it was chapter 7. No, it wasn't. It was refusal. It was in the call to adventure. Yeah, okay, so it was chapter 3. Okay. Right. The point was that it was a long time ago. Yes, it leads to one of the cells of the deep dungeons, and there she finds a cell with some distilling equipment. She doesn't know what they are. And then a purple flower that she's seen in Chapter Bragi, one of Chapter Bragi's books, when she awoke in their quarters earlier. She also finds a cell with lots of different weapons, all humming and shaking. But before they can investigate, they hear voices from the corridor, and it's a fire calling for them. Okay, so that's what we need to write. What we need to begin. Actually, we need to update this then. So current Hero's Journey. So this is now going to be chapter 14. And let's stop that, and then lock that, and then this is approach to the inmost cave. Done. And that can be locked as well. And the chapter summary gets me to write that. Vespa survived the fall into the well and finds a corridor leading to the water-covered deep dungeons. Here and maybe not find there, and notices. Here she finds a cell full of various bottles and tubes, as well as the purple flower from Peter Bragi's book. Hopefully that can all... Oh no, wow, okay, that wasn't... No, that's not pretty, that's not good. Whoops. Fall into the well, and that... Maybe there. Well, isn't this nice doing this live? So you guys can really see my amazing abilities in live streaming. Various bottles, as well as the purple flower from Bragi's book. Well, at least it actually at least it actually fit right into the chapter 14. Okay, wow, great success on that. That was so good. That was amazing, beautiful, and all that. I'll have to update the story so far off stream. It was 2:30. Failed. Update of stream frame. Lol. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. So I go out of that and this. All right. Well, we're closing in on page 200. So how do we start? Chapter 14. Miss Blogger said, did you get the link? I don't think so. Unless you send it to me. I haven't actually checked my other... I haven't checked my phone or anything. Did you send a link, Miss Blogger, somewhere? I guess you did. Try to send it somewhere. Okay, let's try to focus up here. As we're going to the fabled chapter 14. don't know, maybe we should reiterate that it is unused. Start with lemon. Lemon. We've used clinged a lot. Is there another word for cling? Stuck. Ms. Blogger said I just sent the link again. Where did you send it? I haven't gotten a notification anywhere. And there's no link in the chat. I don't actually know if you can have links in the chat. Other than me, as this is my stream. Okay, no, yeah, the I don't think you can link in the chat, Miss Blogger. I'm sorry. You have to do something like to write like brackets around the dot or something, so it doesn't look like it doesn't appear as a link. That might be why. And then I can always, you know, discern what the link was supposed to be. Lemon stuck tightly. To Vespa's head. No. As she crawled onto a sandy bank. At least it felt like sand. But it was so dark down here in the well. That Vespa couldn't discern. Where can I send you links? Ask Miss Blogger. Well, there's a you can email them. Actually, if you want. You should be able to see my email on my channel page. It's just forgottensongsfantasy@gmail.com. I can write it. forgottensongsfantasy@gmail.com. You can send it there if you'd like. Is it a link to some of that Abby Emmons stuff that you talked about earlier? That Vespa's only vision. Only vision was the feeling of her hands. Even though the well had been unused for more than Vespa's life. Vespa's 12 summers. There seemed to still some water at the bottom of it. Bottom of it. And right now she was more than grateful. Right now she was more than grateful for, well, if it isn't page 200 that we're about to embark on. If I just move over here. New page hype. Page 200 indeed. Sarah, whoop whoop, new page hype. Miss Blogger says, what is your email address? Please type it or link it in the chat. Did I just... I thought I just did that. Yeah, it should be there in the chat. Forgotten Songs Fantasy at gmail.com. Or you should be able to find it on my channel page. So like if you go into here, the description, there's a view email address down there you can use, but it's just forgottensongsfantasy@gmail.com. Page 200, let's go. Grateful, she was more than grateful for that. One word and he is already stumped. See page 200. Let's annotate that. That's dangerous. So that's around 244. Page 200. Woo! Let's go. Now I did hope that I would manage to write the entire page, but it doesn't look too likely with where we are. How much time I have left? Like maybe a half an hour left of the stream. The planned stream. Whatever. It's been a pretty good stream progress-wise so far, I think. Even though we might not hit 3 pages. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I still think we're going to hit 1,000 words though. So that's very good. That's like, it feels like 1,000 words feels like the benchmark of a good progress stream. Anything more is a bonus. Anything less is, well, just not as good. But she was still down a well. All alone. With a fair nowhere around. Nowhere around this time to help her. Help them. Help her and Lemon. Her companion had managed to reach her during the fall. But had instantly regretted that decision. As they both hit the water underground, the well. This is called a well basin. Well basin. A well. Rainwater, groundwater. Yes, show me wells. Clay. Whatever, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for... no. Okay, never mind then, Wikipedia. The underground water basin. As they hit the underground water basin together. The underground water basin together. As Vespa dropped to her back, on the cold sand. Lemon did the same. On her chest. Both heaving for breath. Does that make sense? Say for breath? Maybe. Makes sense. both heaving for breath. As if they had spent all day and night racing each other around the keep. I'm sorry. Was the only words Vespa could muster as she gently placed her hand on the little bird. With feathers soaked as much as her own clothes. Without, I do think my handwriting has been extraordinarily terrible today. I don't know if it's just because it's a new notebook and it's pretty high up, whatever. Just, it's been bad. Just want to get that out there. I am aware of it. Without vision, however, she had to be extra careful when locating him. Which in turn proved harder in her current state. But she managed And Lemon responded. With a trill. Gracefully accepting, gracefully accepting the warm touch. That went really, really fast, what we just wrote. We're just now getting into the 3rd hour of the live stream. Guess we are going to reach 3 pages today. That's good. Woo! A few moments went by. With the only noises being heavy breaths, heavy breathing and low trilling. From the 2. Just see if we go like this, right? And then you see that lines up. So page 3 would be down here, this line here. So we can definitely hit that. Maybe I'll even keep going until the end of page 200. You know, just so we can say that we're over 200 pages in. That would be pretty cool. Of course, we do have to write it. But despite Vespa finally finding some sort of rhythmic breathing again. Her heart would not seem to relax. In fact, as the moments, I don't want to say moments, just said moment before. As the seconds jingle, blah, blah, blah. Oh, as it beats actually. Let's go with breaths. There's a lot of breathing in this. A lot. The beats. Only seem to rise. But Vesper already knew why. Already knew why. Tears started streaming. Slowly started streaming down her stream down her face. As she began recollecting all of her nightmares. Where she had found herself at the bottom of the well in what was the city called? On geography and landmarks. Do we have a city? We did have a city, didn't we? Sarah says, got to go now. Have a good stream. Thank you, Sarah, so much. Thank you so much for being here once again. I hope you'll be back on Monday. as we're right back at it. Have a good weekend when you get there as well. And yeah, page hype. Let's go. But don't worry, I'm soon done. So it's all good. Not that it wouldn't be good, but you know. What did we call that? I had a name. I had a name for it. Come on. I had a name for this city close to Black River's Keep that she fell into. And I don't believe... Okay, we can find it. The catacombs. It's heard from falling. It's chapter 4. Great. Okay, we have it here. Will you look at that? Will you look at that? I have easy access to chapter 4. Somewhat easy access. Oops, just painted all over my hand. And some, because she is... This is where, even though Vesper's all alone, this dark place. This was not the first time. Slowly getting encouraged back. Vesper tried to come with a plan. But disagreeing with the smallest movement. Something wouldn't. This is where she finds Lemon. This is Screeched. Then she talks for the first time with Reynave. Come on. I was supposed to say here. Don't like it down here. Okay, so this is where she's actually found. This is where she's found. Mix of both. Yeah, then it ends for a moment. God dang it. Where is that? I'm pretty sure that we came up with a name for a city. And With darkness, it sucked something. Did we not? Maybe not. So there's Vespa here. Background. What's picking up? Fears and insecurities. Find a true friend. Did I not update anything? Oh my god. Okay, so we can write ourselves out of this. At the bottom of wells. Following that dreadful incident all those years ago, all those years ago. Whoops, you guys couldn't see that. Ago. Name of town with well. Vespa didn't even want to think about it. But it was difficult. It proved difficult not to. To think. I guess that's 2 and 2. 2 and 2. To think that she had spent all those years. So we just said all those years before as well. That she had spent all those years carefully avoiding the well in the middle of Black Rivers. Black River keeps Black Rivers keep and yet by some cruel Cruel hand. She found herself here. She found herself down here. Where she had sworn she had sworn to never go. Okay, you know what? This is what we need to end page 200. So this, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I'm going to extend the live stream just a little bit. And we're going to write page 200. Finish to page 200. And it's gonna be glorious. And not just any cruel hand. Despite all she knew about Sire Brendan, Vesper still had a hard time believing he could be so cold as to almost drown her before throwing her into the well. She guessed it made sense. Given how she had gone directly given how she had gone directly to Grand Protector, already revealing all of Sire Brendan's plans. If only if only they or anyone for that matter would have believed her I believed her. She wouldn't have ended up here. Wouldn't have ended up here. Where no one would think to look for her. Okay, we're getting real close now to the end of page 200. Woo! That's wild. It's wild. Can you believe it? 200 pages? Okay, let's go for the last stretch. Affair would probably just assume that Vesper had kept being angry. That sounds weird. Kept being angry. Weird. And ran away. Ran away. She would probably search everywhere. But down here, for knowing how much Vesper hated that well. Hated this well and would never and would never even go near it. Well, I guess she did actually go near it earlier when she was nearly run over by a horse. Didn't she earlier? earlier. Vesper missed her older sister. So terribly much. Right now, that her stomach began to hurt alongside her racing heart. There it was, the end of page 200. Woo! So that we go to page 201. New page hype. Whoop whoop. Sadly, Sarah isn't in the chat anymore, but we will channel the spirit of her for new page hype alongside her racing heart and streamy. And that, my dear friends, viewers, good people, will be the last word of the day. It's quite nice beginning knowing that next time we will start from very top of a page. Well, actually I will. I won't be doing that on stream. But so it is. So there's 3 pages today. 3 pages and a little bit. Let's have a count, shall we? Where's my master sword of counting? There it is. 3 pages and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 3 pages, 14 lines. That's what we want to say. 3 pages and 14 lines. Let's have that there. Just it looks good. Looks nice. So we go in here. It's the. If my calculations are correct, it is day 60 that I have written on this. So I've written on this. You couldn't see that. On this story for 60 days now. And we'll take that formula, we write 3, and it was 14 lines, 1,225, which means we are 499 words away from 75,000 words, all in all. Okay, so let's update that first. So we go in here, we say 74, 501 words, and then we take this and we go like this, and then our progress bar position will be minus 570, and the dual position will be 1393. Okay, there we have it. Oh, we are very close. We are so close to the need for updating the word progress goal. And with those words, that is the last of me tonight. It is, well, it's 20 minutes to 12 here in Denmark, so that's cool. That was 40 minutes more than I planned, but you know, we got page 200 done and it was all good. Good progress. It felt good. We finished chapter 13. It was just great. It was, wasn't it? I want to thank you guys for watching, either live or in the VOD. It means everything to me. And if you want to like this, please do so on YouTube. Maybe even subscribe to me. It'll be amazing as well, so you can follow along as we shape this story. Yeah. I'm signing off. Just remember that we write our own stories. Alright, see you Monday. Bye.